Welcome to all my bad teddy bear strikers out there. Welcome to Bad Teddy Bear Striker series where we rationalize MMA striking while we try to find ways to increase our probability of landing our techniques. So this is where the crafting begins. We kick off the series with the focus on the lead hand, specifically lead hand attacks. Starting with the tactic of the day, let's call it the peek and sneak. So what is this peek and sneak tactic, you ask?
FBI, open up!
The peek and sneak is a tactic where you use your opponent's guard against them and use their own hands to create openings to land a shot. What this tactic does is that it lets your opponent know that they're simply not safe anywhere and that every guard they choose to use can easily be pierced through, and most importantly that you can touch them by will. So how do we increase our probability of landing this? We first have to establish the 7 rules from the introduction video. If you haven't watched it yet, I highly recommend you do so before watching this. Alright my bad teddy bears, let's get into it. Rule number 1, get into the correct range. As you do so, you want to make sure that your rear hand is above your eye level, okay? Because in order to use this technique, we need to get really close. So close that we can actually touch our opponent's rear hand with our lead hand, okay? By doing this, we can make sure to minimize the time the eyes have to recognize and react to movements, okay? It takes a lot of nerves and skills and discipline to stay calm and play within this range. So cautious, but we will go through ways to mitigate the potential risk. So as you proceed to get into range, have a high guard with the rear hand up to eyebrow level, and it should be ready to catch the jab or the lead hook from your opponent. Usually in the process of getting into the required range, you will become prone to leg kicks for that split moment until you get there. So be mindful of those. Your lead hand should be ready to control your opponent's rear hand to stop them from blisting at you, okay? Just potentially blisting at you. Because once you get into that specific range, it is highly likely that your opponent will prioritize punches over kicks, okay? Rule number 2, set a precedent. The perfect tool to use to set up this specific tactic is the jab, because of the fact that we're going to be building off it. You don't necessarily have to throw the jab towards your opponent's face, but instead you can throw the jab towards your opponent's palm, for example. Rear hand or lead hand, doesn't matter. Just to create that comfort and false sense of security before the actual trick. Rule number 3, anticipation. Now, once you have created that false sense of security and comfort of touching their hands without them reacting to it, that is the anticipation and reaction we need to execute the trick. Once we realize that they're not paying attention to the hands, that's when we go into information overload to hide our true intentions. Now, rule number 4, position. As you keep sending and overwhelming your opponent with information, at the same time you have to put yourself into the proper position to fire. All of this should be happening simultaneously as the information overload process is ongoing. Rule number 5, timing. Usually, when you create that information overload, your opponent tends to watch you for a bit because they're trying to solve the movement pattern that you're giving them. The higher the level of the opponent, the faster they're going to be able to read that pattern and respond to it, and the more complex your movement and intellectual debate will have to be. However, that split second they give you is the time that needs to be used to execute the strategy. Rule number 6, technique. As you already have the atmosphere set and ready, you can either choose the rear hand entry or the lead hand entry. For the lead hand entry, first you're going to slap your opponent's lead hand to the side to create that peak opening moment that you needed. Now, without pulling your hand back, you will re-step deeper into your opponent's range with the jab aiming at your opponent's nose. If you have a long range, you can easily step back out of danger after the initiation. But if you have short range, I would recommend you sitting after the jab and then pulling back. However, if you choose to attack the rear hand of your opponent, you want to tap your opponent's rear hand down to create that peak opening. And once that peak opening is there, you slide your jab over it to attack. Once you have made impact, continue to circle the same side in order to exit safely. Rule number 7, speed, speed, speed. Now that you have everything perfectly rehearsed and ready to execute, now add some maximum speed to that, meaning that you're stepping as fast as possible because your hands will naturally follow. Do all of these correctly and your opponent will have absolutely no idea where that came from. So there we have it. Thank all of you for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe, like, and comment, and tell me what you guys think. I'll naturally see you in the next one. Bad Teddy Bear out.